Hello, hey guys, how are you? We've got a small group tonight, so that's okay. We'll push on. And a couple of things I'm going to go through some of the money management stuff. We're going to have a look at the top 10. We're going to look at uh, the mind map document that I'll put together. That covers all of the components of obviously the system automation. So just about finished that. I should have it all done by Sunday. It's been a massive job, but I'm sure you'll find it very useful, and it encompasses everything that's involved in the process of running your high performance system and developing the high performance system. So let's jump into things. First up, we'll start with the top 10 review. So we'll kind of start with the top 10 stuff and then we'll jump into our money management. So last week was a little bit, not great for the top 10. Like if we look at our top 10 systems, they made 1331, which is only the second or third time they've had a losing week in the last 13. So that's not too bad. However, like if we look at what happened last week, we had the Easter break. So I'm not surprised that things didn't go that well for a lot of the systems last week, because what happens during these periods where you've got traders going on holidays? The markets tend to get a little bit quieter, don't they? So you've just got to, I guess, watch for that. Maybe build that into your testing. Have a look at how things go the week leading up to the Easter break. That's another thing, because remember a couple of months ago we spoke about when should I be trading, when shouldn't I be trading. Well, this is probably a good example of the lead up a little bit quieter towards Easter, and it's important to have that filed away and just to see what your systems are, because if you look at the systems there in that top 10, there's only a few that actually performed reasonably last week. Everything else was either flat to negative. So not fantastic. And that's indicative of kind of how the systems went across the board. So let's have a look at what's running well. I've got PT10, the pivot trader. I've got some new settings for that which I'll release shortly. Clyde's done some work on that. Looks pretty good. VFI gold doesn't trade much, so yeah, nothing to write home about there. The Viper, GMT Viper 1, its last 2 weeks have been pretty poor. Before that was pretty good, but not great. VP45, couple of fairly downish weeks. Then we've got the DAX, which did well last week, and the big one is the Pennant 27 belongs, doing really well last 2 weeks, or last week, and 2 weeks ago, and then last week a little bit quieter. The Euro Shorts, that new pivot trader Euro Shorts was pretty good, so I was pretty happy with that. And then we've got what have we got here? SN99 good, and then Pennant 08 was good Euro Dollar, but the big standout with SN440. So if I summed up the week, this little system here doesn't do much, has some winning and losing weeks, but when it wins, it does really, really well. I've modified the stops so it doesn't get exposed to that larger loss, but it did well last week. Let's have a look at the strategy here. Let me just bring it up now. So this is it here. It's in Dropbox. You'll see that, and we'll just go to the weekly stats. No, that's probably not it. Get the right one. My apologies, guys. Okay, there it is there. So it had a really, really good week last week. Not sure when it took that trade there, whether it was yesterday or not. So you've really, coming back this week as well, when would you think that it might be good to come back and trade after the Easter break? I mean, obviously we need to test for that, but when would be a good time to... What days would we be looking specifically at testing? if we non-farm, we basically, if we're having a holiday period, that first day back from the holidays, you'd probably want to see if you've got data that's going to go back, because 15 minute crude, you're probably going to see you're going to be able to go in and have a look at the ranges for the last 12 months, last 2 or 3 years, and see what the volumes are like on those days back. And if you've got very low volume, then they might not be a great day to start back trading. So just always, I'm always looking for reasons why we should stay out of the market as far as the holidays, and I just like to build a little bit of a history of what's happening with the holidays. So I would suggest you definitely do that with your strategies, and just particularly with the markets that you trade. But SN 440 did really well. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. It's got a really good average trade net profit. Again, it's pretty well balanced between longs and shorts, because we know that. But this is the big thing here. With crude oil, we don't often see strategies with the big average trade net profit. So that's quite impressive as far as that strategy. Yeah, look, it's not trading much. It's a swing trading strategy, but it's doing really, really well. So definitely one to look out for. Now, let's jump through here. So, and we'll go into... So what I want to look at now is I want to take you to the... bar charts, and we're going to have a look at what's hot and what's not at the moment. So if we have a look at bar charts, we're going to look at our futures and which markets are running hot. Now, we're having a bit of a look at the moment at the E-mini Dow and the E-mini Nasdaq, because of the point price is a lot lower. So I want us to kind of start putting together some systems on both of those markets. So what we want to do is, well, obviously there's a bit of buying momentum here on those. So the Dow E-mini and the Nasdaq E-mini, both strongly positive, and then you've got everything else is kind of bearish at the moment. So the indexes and the bonds looking really good. The commodities and general futures looking very bearish. So there's a big imbalance there between the longs and shorts. So if you are running a portfolio, what are you going to want to make sure that you've got? Ideally, you want to make sure that you've got a bit of a balance there, don't you? Between positive and negative momentum, or buying and selling momentum, ideally. So why would I want that? Why would I want a bit of a balance between the longs and shorts? We know how to make sure our systems are uncorrelated. Yeah, always opportunity for profit. We want to make sure that we're in markets that are moving. Momentum is going to drive the profit of our systems, and if you may find that one of these two, the commodity markets or the indexes and bonds, one of them may lag the other. So if you can get a couple of extra days of positive momentum or negative momentum out of the system you're trading, then obviously that's an advantage to you. So it's always good to have a good mix of strategies in your portfolio if that is a possibility for you. So guys, let's just push out of here. So that's interesting information there. We'll have a quick look at the Forex before we jump in and have a look at the mind map. I'll do a quick run through of the mind map, and then we'll jump straight into... So Forex, let's just wait for that to load up. It's just taking its time there. And while we're waiting for that to load up, I'll jump straight to... so what I've done with the mind map is that I did promise a while ago that I was going to put together a map of system development and management. So what the goal for that was to kind of outline as a map exactly the process that we go through when we're creating systems. And then once we've created the systems, what do we then do to manage and maintain the system? So what I've done here is I've kind of stripped it back to the bare bones, and we've got like learning the terms. So some basic stuff when you first come in to trading, some of the information that you've got available to you, like the Dropbox. I'll flesh this out a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of information I can put in this map, and what my plan is to do this initial release on Sunday, drop it into SkyPrep, and make it available to everybody as a PDF. So I'm going to send you a link over the weekend on how to use a mind map trial, so you can trial mind map for 30 days. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create it as a PDF as well. So if you decide you don't want to use mind map, then you've always got that PDF document that you can refer to as well. So the idea here is that we put together, so if for example you've got a question or you're not sure about something and you go, right, well, trading objectives, right, well, what do I need to know about trading objectives? Well, when I'm creating a system and I've got all the information there on trading objectives, if I go in here, then I've put in here win rate, what kind of, displays the percentage of completed trades that were profitable, and then I've got average trade net profit, details there. So they're all the things that we need to consider when we're putting together our trading objectives, aren't they? Then if we come down here to market profile module 8, this is where you build your expertise in the market. So you pick the market, then you do your market profile. You can use bar charts to look at volume. You can look at daily charts. You can look at a 30-minute strategy chart. And the purpose for the 30-minute strategy chart is to get an idea of where the volume is. And then you want to look at multiple time frames. So these are some of the time frames. I've also listed somewhere, sorry about that. I've also listed, and I'll just bring that mind map back up. I've also listed in that map exactly where, let me just kill that for a second. I've also, with your testing, I've also given you a breakdown of, let's have a look here, timeframes for testing. So select timeframe tick. So when you're developing your pilot system, you've obviously selecting your market, you're reviewing your 30-minute chart to identify the best opportunities. You're looking at your seasonal charts to find out what's happening seasonally. That gives you an idea of where the longs and the shorts might be. You're selecting a time frame on tick, share, or share bar, or time. And I've actually listed some of the historic tick charts that work well. I've listed the time charts that you can test on. I've also listed some of the volume charts that you can kind of look at as well. So what this is really just a little bit of a guide as to, some quick tips and some ways to get to that point of creating that high performance system. So we want to build in commission and slippage. We want to set your data to optimize based on in-sample data. I'll put a little video in there as well on that. So I'm going to try to link as much information as I can. So if you get stuck during this process of building your system, you can quickly go into, right, well, I'm developing my baseline strategy. What do I need to do? Okay, tick, 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 I've done all those things. So it's just giving you a little bit of a map of, what's the next thing I need to do, and then giving you some tips on how to do that as well. Now, then we've got the daily process. So trader self-assessment, 10 trading rules, success mindset, and then I've got where the copy of that is. Then the automated checklist, review the daily chart, so identify the zones of volatility, simple moving average to determine the trend, and review your seasonal charts. So you're doing that every day. Why are we doing that every day? Because we want to know exactly what's happening with the market. If we say this over and over again, but if you've got a quick snapshot of that, then that really helps. And then we've got the weekly process and then the monthly process. So you've got it all really built out. Now, once we release the automated system, or the automated website, a lot of this stuff is going to be automatically available for you. Like, you won't need to go through the weekly process of copying your data into your spreadsheet, your PME spreadsheet, because that'll automatically be done for you. So some of this stuff will be replaced, but I'll wait until we obviously release the website, and then we'll add that in as part of this process. But you'll find that a lot of the stuff that we do now that's manual will be very quickly replaced with that automated function. So guys, this will be available for you Sunday as a PDF. It's an ever evolving document, because you can imagine as we add more and more things to this, then this document's going to get bigger and bigger. So I'll just give it a version number, and we'll just keep releasing it as I add more content to it. I've got some of the systems loaded up there. I've got more to add in. The Wave Trader, Fail Trend, Pivot Trader, VFI, Viper, Renko. There's some like counter trend, end of trend. And the thing there with that as well is that obviously with each of the systems, we're going to, you've got the entry and exit, so information on there. And it's as I said before, there's a lot of information going into this. So hopefully you find it useful, and I think you will. And it'll just help kind of crystallize everything for you. That's my goal there. So any questions on the mind map? Mind maps are great for just really putting consolidating your thoughts and the process. Once you see the process, it makes it a lot easier to get your head around what you've got to do. Whereas if you have all these things in a website in that linear learning fashion, sometimes as you're going through it, you need to see it as a model rather than just as modules. Does that make sense to everybody? I think this will definitely help. I know it will. So once again, it'll be a PDF, or you'll get a link for mind map. So I'll be sending that out on Sunday. And it'll be, as I said, it'll be a working document. So this will be version number 1. I'll be adding a lot more versions to this as we build it up, because there's a lot of content to go in. All right, guys, that was just a bit of an update on MindJet or Mind Map, and I'll just